out there? It's Gertrude Seaweed, Mrs. Seaweed, and Mrs. Colby here today, which is always going to be a day full of fun. You know that. Gertrude's here, so we're always going to have fun. That's right. We have a lot to talk about today. Well, I'm glad about that. Well, we already said hi to the kids. I know, I think we talked about that last time. We said hi twice. Well, hello again. So what have you been up to? I see you don't have your hat today. No, I've been out working with the bees. I always wear a bandana when I'm outside. And, it helps your sweat. Oh yeah, I love to sweat. I do not like to sweat. I do not like to sweat at all. It's good for you. Cleans out the pores. Well, I still don't like to do it very much. Oh, there's that dadgum dog again. What's his name? His name's Dexter. He is kind of cute. I don't really much care for dogs. Well, except a hound dog. But he is cute. Oh, Dexter! I think he's leaving. Well, I don't think he's going to stay here with us today. So what you been up to? Well, I did play not at Harvey's Bingo Hall, darn it. But we did play Zoom Bingo again. You know that thing on the computer? Are you having to do that now? Well, we're not doing Zoom, but we're kind of doing something like that. But teachers are doing Zoom. Well, it ain't no fun at all. You can't talk to your friends. I can't lean over and hit Harvey on the side. Well, it's just not the same. But I did win. You did? You said last time Maud won an umbrella. Yep. And I won that darn little kitty notepad, for heaven's sakes. Well, sometimes that happens. I think it's kind of a nice little thing, too. Well, I was wanting that umbrella. Well, another thing is, do you guys all keep your own bingo card? Yeah, we all have bingo cards at home. And then they show us the bingo card on the screen. And then they shout out the number, B6. Have the kids ever played bingo? I think a lot of them have played bingo. You have to put your little token on the number. Yeah, I do put it. Well, we don't use tokens. We use what's called a dauber. Do you know what a dauber is? No, I don't really know what a dauber is. Well, it's like a little ink bottle. And you take the dauber and you stick it on there and it makes a little ink spot on your number. So when they call B6, I look down. B6. Ah! I put my dauber on there and it covers up the number right quick. Well, now we're at home with this Zoom thing. I didn't have any daubers at home. They keep them at the Harvey's Bingo place, Yep, I do know. So, well, I had to get I got chocolate chips. That's what I covered up my numbers with. You covered up chocolate chips. And then, can you see everybody on the screen? Oh yeah, we gotta make sure nobody's cheating, of course. And then, they call out all the numbers, and as soon as I have chocolate chips, one row across, I say, bingo! And everybody goes, oh! Because everybody wants to win in my group. We're all competitive. Mildred, oh, that lady, she loves to win. Herschel, Clyde, Marvin, whole bunch of us. We all love to win. Well, I hope you're good sports. When you don't, your sister was talking to the kids about being good sports, having good sportsmanship this week. She was? Yep. She did say that possibly you were not always the best of sports when you played games with her. That lady. I'm a good sport. I'm a good sport at everything. Sometimes I just get upset when I lose. Well, what do you do when you lose? Well, I try to be kind, but sometimes I go, oh, darn it! I can't believe you won again, Isabella. Well, that isn't always a good sport. You're supposed to give them a compliment. What? Yeah, you're supposed to say, like, when Maud won the umbrella, you're supposed to say, great job, Maud. I'm so glad that you won. Well, I can't say that I said that. I said, dadgummit, I wanted that umbrella for myself, Maud. Look what I got. Little kitty notepad. Well, that is not what I would call being a good sport. Well, sometimes I am, and sometimes I ain't. Well, I don't know what to tell you about that. Now listen, how's the beekeeping going? Oh my, just fantastic. I have 15 hives. Yep, I know you have 15 hives. Tell us a couple things about bees that we don't know. Well, by the way, you got that wild whisker on my chin finally. Well, that's a good thing to know. We don't want any wild whiskers floating around on your chin. Boy, he was difficult to get. I have to say, it took me a few days. Well, back to the bees. Tell us a couple things about bees. Well, a bee lives about 6 to 8 weeks total. Only 6 to 8 weeks? Yep. They live about, 30 to 60 days. And then what? Well, in that time, they fly. They fly a lot. They fly all the time, helping the queen, serving the queen. They fly in their lifetime, 6 to 8 weeks, they fly 1.5 times around the earth. What? Like all the way around the earth? Yep, you can't believe it, but they do. So in 6 weeks, they fly enough all around the neighborhood to make it 1.5 times around the earth. Yeah, you better believe it. Well, that is a lot. How much is that a day? Well, they fly about 600 miles a day. One bee flies 600 miles a day? Yep, they sure do. Are you sure about that? I have been doing bees for 20 years. I know about bees. Well, I don't want to question you, but I'm thinking that's a lot of miles a day. I might have to look into that. Well, you go right ahead, but you're going to find out it's true. Okay. So, you have 15 hives, yeah. One of them's empty, so I'm going to get some more bees to fill that one up. Sometimes I take bees to farmers to help pollinate their crops. Bees pollinate. Yes, we do know that. In my classroom, we learned about bees flying from flower to flower, gathering pollen like on their legs and bodies, and then taking it back to the hive, to the queen. Yep, that's right. Their little legs are furry, their little bottoms are furry, and they just collect all kinds of pollen to take back to make for honey. Well, that is so amazing. Well, I'm thinking that might be all for us today because we have to read a story. Let me pull your dress down here a little bit. Oh my gosh. I hate wearing dadgum dresses anyway. I like to wear my overalls, but I figure I should dress up for the children. Well, it is nice that you dress up. I think that's a good thing. And I have my work gloves on, but I'm all sweaty and stinky, so I did take a shower and get cleaned up for y'all. You do look very nice today. All right, well, can I come back again? You can come back again. I'll tell you some more stories about bingo. My gosh, I've got a bazillion of them. Okay, we'll come back and tell us about bingo. It is always interesting and fun to have you come. All right, do you mind if I sit in the rocking chair again and listen to the story? I don't mind at all. I would love it. We're going to read a story today about Mr. Putter and Tabby, who are two really good friends. Well, I know about good friends. I've got me a lot of them. Okay. Well, I will see you. I'm going to take you right over and put you in the rocking chair. I think there's one over there. Just be careful. Don't rock too much. Well, I know how to rock. I've been doing it a long time. Okay. All right. See you later. See you later. It was nice talking to you today. Well, it was nice talking to you too. All right. Bye. Okay. Off we go. I'll let you walk over there and get in your rocking chair. And we are going to read a book from our library. Mrs. Colby, you can't believe how many books I brought home from the library. Lots of them. So I snuck into the popular series books, which are just our beginning chapter books. They're like start out at a level J. And I brought a bunch home so we could read, if I read one of each, like a Horrible Harry, a Mr. Putter and Tabby, Henry and Mudge. And then when we finally get back to the library, you can go in and discover the whole series that go with them. So this is called Mr. Putter and Tabby. It's written by Cynthia Rylant. She's one of my very favorite authors too. And we have a lot of her books in the library. So any of these authors that we're reading about, when you come in next time, you can go, oh, Mrs. Colby, I love Cynthia Rylant that wrote Mr. Putter and Tabby, which we have a whole basket of. Where are her other books? I would really love to read them. Another one of my favorites of hers is called The Relatives Came. And it's a story about, when you have all your relatives, either they come for Easter or grandma and grandpa come to stay or your cousins come over. And she just wrote about her experience of having her whole family come to stay with them. So just brings back memories. So anyway, Mr. Putter and Tabby bake the cake. And it's a chapter book, but it's a shorter chapter book. So we're going to try to read the whole thing today. And then if you get tired, you can stop halfway through and then start it again tomorrow if you want to. Mr. Putter and Tabby bake a cake. I was looking at it and I think it's got some Christmas stuff in it. So, but we don't care. And they surely are such good friends. It's illustrated by Arthur Howard. We always want to give credit to our illustrators because they are a big part of the book. The words come from the author, but the pictures that tell us so much come from the illustrator, and they are a really important piece to it. Here's the little, Mrs. Colby calls it the gobbledygook page. It's the copyright, tells when the book was published, tells all kinds of information about it, and it's written in the tiniest print you've ever seen. This book has 4 chapters. We always want to, once you get into a chapter book, we always want to look at the chapters. This one has 4. It's called A Good Cake, No Pans, Mary Sue, and Something Airy. I think it's always fun to read the chapters first because it gives you a little hint at what that chapter might be about. Kind of makes you go, I wonder what chapter 2 is going to be about. No pans when you're baking a cake. Chapter 1, A Good Cake. It was winter time, and Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby sat in their window every night to watch the snow come down. They watched and dreamed. Mr. Putter dreamed of the big red sled he rode as a boy. He dreamed of snowmen big as a house. Tabby dreamed too. She dreamed of snowdrifts and that she walked on as a kitten. She dreamt of deep tunnels through the white yard. Mr. Putter and Tabby were old now. They had a lot to dream about, and that is why they loved the winter time. They also loved wintertime because wintertime brought Christmas. Mr. Putter loved to give Christmas presents. He started thinking about Christmas presents in July. He liked to think about what he could give to the grocer, to the librarian, to the postman. Mr. Putter also had to think of what he would give to his neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry. This was the hardest of all. He usually had to think about this all the way until December. Mrs. Teaberry liked strange things. She liked coconuts made into monkey heads. There's her coconut. She liked salt shakers that walked across the table. She liked little dresses for her teapots. She even liked fruit cake. Mr. Putter could live with monkey heads and walking salt shakers and dressed up teapots, but Mr. Putter could not believe that Miss Teaberry liked fruit cake. He could not believe that anyone would like fruit cake. Fruit cake you usually see only at Christmas. Not that you couldn't get it, but I think usually at Christmas. And it is a different kind of a cake. It sounds really good, but it's different. You'll have to try some sometime. Every Christmas, Mrs. Teaberry ate mounds of fruit cake. It worried Mr. Putter. This winter, he was worrying a lot. He thought Mrs. Teaberry should have a good cake for Christmas, not a fruit cake that she could break her toe on if she dropped it. A good cake, a light and airy cake. And look on the cover. It looks like maybe he's sitting there thinking about the cake, thinking about baking it. One night, as he and Tabby sat dreaming in their snowy window, that is exactly what he decided to give Mrs. Teaberry for Christmas. Mr. Putter would bake her a Christmas cake. It would be a cinch. And a cinch means it would be easy. Oh my gosh, I didn't even read the blip on the back of the book, and this book has a little blip on it. Can't believe I forgot that. I love the blip. We'll read that after. Chapter 2, No Pans. Oh yeah, here's the same picture that was on the cover. The cake was not a cinch. In the first place, Mr. Putter did not know how to bake a cake. He could bake instant muffins. He could make instant popovers, but he had never baked a cake, and he did not know how. Mr. Putter and Tabby always have some kind of a little problem they have to work through, and they always do it together. And in the second place, Mr. Putter had no pans. He had muffin pans and popover pans, but he had no cake pans. If he baked a cake, it would have to be in a shoe. Or maybe he'd bake it in a flower pot, or even in a hat. But not a cake pan, because he did not have one. And in the third place, Mr. Putter had no cookbook. He had books on seaweed and books on clouds. He had books on Chinese trees, but he had no cookbooks. Mr. Putter thought about no cookbooks, no cake pan, and the fact that he did not even bake. He said to Tabby, maybe for Christmas Mrs. Teaberry would like a nice cup of tea and a card. And on his card it says, it's the thought that counts. Chapter 3, Mary Sue. So it looks like Mrs. Teaberry didn't get her cake. 1 week before Christmas, Mr. Putter and Tabby took a trip to the sweet shop. It was owned by a woman famous for her cakes. I would love to go to a sweet shop. I have a sweet tooth that is, my favorite thing is frosting, but I do love candy too. She baked cakes with names like strawberry, watermelon, pumpkin, apple, brownie, surprise. Ooh. Wouldn't that be fun if we could go to the sweet shop today? It's kind of cloudy and gloomy today and a little bit chilly. It would be perfect. Well, her name was Mary Sue, and if anyone could teach Mr. Putter to bake a cake, it would be she. Mr. Putter told her his story. He wanted to bake a Christmas cake, he said. Something light, something airy, something that would not break a person's toe. Mary Sue listened carefully. She took good notes, and then she began to sell him things. She sold Mr. Putter 7 bowls. She sold Mr. Putter 3 sifters. She sold Mr. Putter 10 spoons, 5 cups, 2 spatulas, a roll of wax paper, and a Christmas tree pan. She sold him an Easy Baker cookbook, and then she sent him out the door. Mr. Putter had spent $100, and he still didn't have any flour. Oh my goodness, he must like Mrs. Teaberry a lot to spend all that on her Christmas cake. I hope she appreciates it. Chapter 4. See, I told you these are such short chapters. Something airy. On Christmas Eve, Mr. Putter had everything he needed. He had flour, sugar, eggs. He had spoons and bowls and sifters. He had a cookbook. He had a pan. And he had a good cat to keep him company. And look at everything is just all over the kitchen. He is studying that cookbook and mixing, and Tabby's laying on the table. Mr. Putter baked all night long. His first cake fell flat. His second cake wouldn't even come out of the pan. That's frustrating. And his third cake caught on fire. He did not have very much luck with Mrs. Teaberry's cakes. But by the time he baked his fourth cake, it was Christmas morning. Mr. Putter's eyes were droopy, his face was saggy, and he was moving very slowly. He's exhausted. He's been up all night trying to bake a cake. But Mr. Putter did not give up. And by 9 o'clock in the morning, he had made the most beautiful Christmas cake in the whole world. It was light, it was airy, and it would not break a person's toe. He woke up Tabby, and together they took the cake over to Mrs. Teaberry. Let's see what she thinks. Mrs. Teaberry was delighted. She was thrilled. She was patient, because as soon as Mr. Putter sat down in her chair, he fell asleep. Oh dear, poor guy. That was a really nice thing he did for her, though. And she had to wait 12 hours before she could cut her cake. She wouldn't have any without Mr. Putter, and that is how long he slept. But when he finally woke up, Mrs. Teaberry was there with Tabby and her own dog, Zeke, and they ate cake and drank tea and watched the snow fall all night long. I think a piece of cake sounds really good right now. My gosh. And Mr. Putter and Tabby went home with a very nice toaster. Oh, Mrs. Teaberry gave him a toaster. And they sang America the toaster sang America the Beautiful when the toast popped up. That would be fun. I'd probably be making a lot of toast just to hear my toaster sing. And there's little Tabby. Now the blip on the back, which is what you should read before you start the story, always gives you a little taste of what's coming. So I'm going to read it to you even though I forgot it. Mr. Putter tries to bake a Christmas cake for Miss Teaberry. The first cake falls flat, another one catches on fire. Will they have a cake in time for Christmas? And that makes you go, ooh, I got to read to find out. So you always read that before. It's one of my favorite parts of a book, the little blip on the front. And I hope you enjoyed it. We have a ton of Mr. Putter and Tabby books. They're so fun to read. Don't forget that you can also go on the Manatee County Public Library site and you can sign up for a card. It took, Mrs. Colby did it, it took 5 minutes at the most. The main thing is that you get a little PIN number, and they have what they call, they have 2 sites, Hoopla, and there's another one right under it. You'll see them when you're there. And you can begin to check out books, and they come right on your iPad, or you can get audio books that you can listen to. So you could get a bunch of Mr. Putter and Tabby books. Also on Epic, if your teacher has you on Epic. I haven't looked for Mr. Putter and Tabby, but they have so many books on there too for you to be reading. Okay, I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed Mrs. Seaweed and our story, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new book and a brand new puppet. Bye, guys.